Awesome. Hey guys, the last few days we've been messing around. We have the, let me see, what do we have? Where's the Mini Z? The old school Mini Z we used to fly all the time. I mean, this thing has got about 1 billion miles on it, but we still have a zillion wing sets with those, and we've been looking at doing, you know, the same aircraft, but in the 24-inch and getting rid of that stupid blunt section because it'll actually fly better without the blunt section on it. So we've gone through with the router and we've cleared out the center section. We've took the wing sets basically off this exact same aircraft here, and we went through and we rigged it down to 24 inches, and we made it kind of inspired after the hardcore aircraft that we've been making now for the race planes. But I mean, heck, I'm sitting on a zillion of these sets here, and the Mini Z with its blunt sections, you know, I mean, they sell here and there, but you know what, let's go ahead and revisit this and take some of the tech we've learned with the router and make a quick build here. Literally, to get this to this point with all the pieces in hand with hot glue, I have, what, Davis, maybe 20 minutes into it? I think it was about 20 minutes I have into this thing, and that's basically cutting the motor mount in, dropping all the spars in, and if you look, all I did was put a couple of the fiberglass spars in the bottom, did the A-frame, I did the little reinforcement just for the corner of the battery bay area. I dropped this in with hot glue, you know, dropped the caps in for the servo bottoms in there with the little hot glue. Hot glue works really, really great on this kind of foam with this kind of plastic, so everything's just hot glued on. And I mean, 20 minutes into this build, and just for fun, I dropped the other spar right in top. I mean, the dang thing is so rigid, it's like I don't think it even needs the other strip spars out to the end. But you know, it's got the extra ones in the nose just for the little bit thinner area for the battery. But I mean, you basically, what you said, 175 grams is the way it sits right now. It weighs absolutely nothing. You could paint these balsas up in 5 minutes, do a tape hinge on them, and you got them on there. I think the servo's in them, what is it, 12-gram servo that ends up going in there. Quick battery strap around the battery. Originally, we started cutting out the whole area behind the battery bay, and everybody was suggesting, hey, we don't know exactly what's going to go in there, but let's leave that area clear and we can cut our own stuff in. So we nixed the whole idea of cutting all that stuff in there, but 3S2100 fits like a glove in there. It's strapped in with Velcro. You can put a little Velcro actually on the battery if you want, but there's enough room in there that you can stick a couple other different sizes of batteries in there. You can eventually we'll get an upgrade mount where you can stick this type of motor mount right in the back. So it's a two-piece mount for different types of quad motors. This will still fit that pattern for the quad motors. Right now I haven't glued this part in because I'm going to mount the motor to it just because it's easier, and then slide it in. And then I'll probably end up sliding it in and a little Gorilla Glue or a little bit of CA when I slide it in there. But basically, to cut that motor mount in, all I did was take this saw, which has got a big Sawzall blade in it, cut that motor mount in real quick, back and forth. It took like no time at all with either a Sawzall blade or a hacksaw. Slice it in, motor mount, I cut it nice and low, put it right on the thrust line. Simple. We figured, you know what, we were talking about in the threads, either going with the two-piece or just going with the simple aluminum mount that the Mini has been coming with for years and it's been working great. Why don't we just leave that on there for now, keep the price points down and the labor down, and then let everybody kind of you know, create their own. We might end up making a series where we just have this stuff cut out with the router at the same time. But at this point, I think we'll leave this piece out, let these people open source it and kind of put their own things together. But to have a little 24-inch wing that you can build in less than a half an hour to this stage, within an hour, I would say you could probably have this thing flying. And within 2 hours, if you had 5 of them on the bench, you could probably have maybe almost 5 of them flying, or almost completely built within a 2-3 hour period. So depends on how creative you want to get. But I basically just used a little activator, a little bit of CA, and a little bit of hot glue, and we put it together in like no freaking time at all. But I mean, this plane flies absolutely wonderful. The only problem is when we do these blunt noses, it takes so much weight to balance them. But something like this is going to balance so much more simple. It still has a ton of wing area, and I don't know. I think it's going to be an awesome revisit. And with the type of foam, it's really rigid and really light. You could leave it just like this and fly it, no problem. You can paint it, you can not paint it. If you want to laminate it, use 3 or 5 mil on it, and you could really, you know, build it to the hilt if you want. Like I said, I've been flying this one for years, and it's still in awesome shape. It's been really wrung out and used a lot. I mean, the skid on the bottom has been landed out in the shop about a bazillion times out here, and it's in need of a new skid, but it's a great flying plane. So just bring it back. That's it. Hit me up with some questions, guys. We're going to go ahead and start cutting these and making them available. I think there's already groups of people that have been wanting to get them, so we're ready.